Hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's such a joy to be here with you on today. I've got so many special guests on this live broadcast with Book It. Book It. That's right. I have a special guest here with me. It's my daughter, Hanaya Madison. Say hello. And she's going to be with us along with our special guest. Our special guest is none other than Pat Golf. I am so excited to have Pat Golf. We've had a power pack last few weeks. As you know, we have had Dr. Fred Batten, Dr. Calasar, Dr. Thompson, and now we have our very own Southeastern's Pat Golf. After our show on today, we have another special guest on next week, Dr. Carrington for Design for Health. And I'm so excited to be able to have him on our show entitled Book It. Right now, I just want to bring in our special guest, Pat. You have some friends with you that we have on our show today. How are you doing, Pat?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Right here we have, of course, Hanaya. She's a sixth grader. And Nathan R. Scott, he's in eighth grade. Patrice Smith, she's a freshman at Andrews University. And Lydia, class of 2021, she is a senior.
Yes,
And
yes,
today,
yes. She's a senior. We're going to be talking about Pat's book on this evening. You don't want to miss it. You can still dream. You can still dream. If there's someone out there that has had a dream, has a project, has had a degree, has had a relationship that you may have lost hope in, no matter what the situation, Pat is here today to let you know that you can still dream. Well, Pat, I want to give you an opportunity at this time to just open up the floor to discuss with these students about your book, You Can Still Dream. The floor is yours.
okay, so this is the very book, You Can Still Dream. And I was inspired to write this book. This book is me speaking to myself and hoping to inspire anyone who flips through the pages and read them for themselves. I've told people time and time again, my parents migrated here in the 70s from Haiti, and they're trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. They gave me the best that they could. And there were times as I was growing up, I wanted to know, how can I get better? How can I do better? And sometimes I would find people that would discourage me, say, that's going to be tough because you come from a background that doesn't have much. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And I said, you know what? The devil is a lie, because Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, I have a plan for you. Thus said the Lord, a plan to prosper you. So if God gave me that promise, Lord, I'm here to redeem that promise. So in this book, I let you know that it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you are currently. You can still dream. You be anything that you want to be. And I've shared that with you. But now I have a group of kids here who've read the book, and I want to know how they feel about it. Hanaya.
Hanaya,
Yes.
to know about
What
the
chapter?
first.
What chapter do you want to focus on, sweetie?
The positive attitude.
That's right. Positive attitude is very important. Go ahead. Tell me about that chapter. After reading, how did you feel?
I felt inspired because now that we have online school and with COVID and stuff, you have to stay motivated so you can get up every day and do your work and stay focused on what you're doing.
Absolutely. We are here during the pandemic, and we can be pessimistic if we want, or we can be optimistic. And you have the right attitude. Hana, you are taking a positive approach. You are being optimistic. It is what it is. And Lord, you're going to get me through this, and I'm going to do my best to make it to what? The seventh grade, correct? Yes. So, Hana, was there a quote that you liked in your chapter?
Yes. Okay. So one of the quotes that in the first chapter of Positive Mind that Hanaya read was this. Hanaya
says, when you wake up every day, you have two choices. You can either be positive or negative, and optimistic or pessimist. It, I choose to be an optimist. It's all a matter of perspective. Harvey McKay.
It's all a
Wow.
matter of perspective. It's all a matter of perspective. And I love the fact that you have chose to be optimistic. You wake up, you zoom in, whatever platform that you're using, and you give it your best. And I guarantee you'll make it to the 7th grade. You have to have a positive attitude. Negative attitude is not going to get you anywhere. You don't need that. You don't need the negative energy. All right. Thank you so much, Anaya. You're the youngest on this platform. Thank you so much. Patrice. Is there a
Hello.
particular chapter you want to focus on, something that stood out to you?
Yes, my favorite chapter was Stepping Stools, chapter 2. And for me, coming to Andrews, I had a lot of obstacles thrown my way. But instead of me just being sad and letting them get me down, I chose to allow God to guide me in the direction He wanted me to. And this chapter talked about that, talked about how we need to turn our negatives into positives.
Praise God. Awesome. Awesome. Any quotes that stood out or anything else that you would like to share with this specific chapter?
Yes, my favorite quote was resilience isn't a single skill, it's a variety of skills and coping mechanisms. To bounce back from bumps in the road, as well as failures, you should focus on emphasizing the positive.
Very good. Very good. So you said that, getting ready, transitioning from your senior year to Andrews University, you came across some hardship, right? However, you still made sure that you stayed focused and you still made sure that you did not lose focus on what you were trying to do. So tell me, could you share some of those hardship that you came across or some stumbling blocks that you came across?
Well, there are times, even here, that I may not always know what I'm doing or what's the next step, what to say. But I've learned using the SWOT analysis, which you can find in the book, I've learned that I have my strengths, I have my family who supports me, I have friends who support me, and I call my mom almost every day, talking to her, asking her questions about what I can do next. And I have friends who, in my classes, if I don't know what to do, I ask them and they can help me. And one thing I want to stress about is having friends who are like minded because they always keep me focused. And whenever I'm discouraged, they are always there for me.
Very good, very good. And what Patrice was just mentioned. Go ahead, Elder.
Well, I just really wanted to highlight, what Patrice mentioned about resilience. Steve Harvey also said in your book, you quoted him, Pat. You said failure is a great teacher, and I think when you make mistakes and you recover from them and treat them as valuable learning experience, then you got something to share. And I think that's really important that, hey, listen, as I read your book, you can still dream. I discovered that, sometimes I had to give myself room for those mistakes, right? And I
Absolutely.
think that's one thing that Patrice gleaned from this book. And I just wanted to highlight that particular quote.
Absolutely. And Patrice mentioned something about a SWOT analysis. Along with the book, I have chapters that you can read that will inspire you. But towards the back, I have activities, comprehensive questions, and tools that can be used. And we will continue to talk about that later on in the show. But we're going to move on to Nathan R. Scott. Nathan, you are in the 8th grade, correct?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
am.
Reading this book, was there anything that you would share with our viewers that stood out to you that you want to share that has inspired you?
Yeah, I really like chapter 3 and 4, Breakaway and Do Something New, because in chapter 3, it was talking about how like negative things and bad things that are holding you back from achieving your dreams and goals, like it's telling you to break away from that. And I really liked that chapter because it encouraged me as like an 8th grader who is going to like a public school to learn how to break away and to like not let all those bad things help like hinder me from being successful. it really helped me like shut down the negativity.
Absolutely. And I can't stress that enough. And I learned that along the way, that you have to be careful who you surround yourself with. You do not
Mhm.
want negative energy around you. If you have people that are trying to detour you and tell you that you can't make it, don't even try it, it's not worth it, you need to break away from those people and say, you know what, I can't. I can't have this person in my circle. I'm trying to stay focused and I want to attain my goals. In order for me to attain my goals, I'm going to have to break away from this person. Sometimes it could be hard, but you have to ask God, say, Lord, help me to break away from this person because I know you have some plans for me and I
Yeah.
want to accomplish those goals.
Hey, listen, Pat, I want to let you know I just love your illustrations. I mean, this is just awesome here where you have a picture of this gentleman breaking away from those negative persons that are in their life. And I can just say and add that that's one of the most singular principles for conversion experience and positive thinking because I gave my life to the Lord, Pat. But it wasn't until I put those bad friends away from my environment that I was actually able to achieve the dream that God had gave me. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for
Absolutely.
saying it in your book.
Praise God. Absolutely. Nathan, anything else you want to add
Oh
to
yeah,
that?
I also really like the fourth chapter, which is do something new, because it's talking about like if you're doing something and it's not going right, then like you need to try something new because then it's not gonna be doing the same thing that's making you have success. So, and there was this one quote that I really liked in it as well. It was on page 37, and it says, it is insane to keep doing the same thing repeatedly the same way, hoping to get different results. And I really like that quote because it's very true. Like you can't expect to get different results by trying the same thing over. Like even there was this one time I was riding my bike when I was younger, and I would always pedal on the one foot, and so I'd fall into this bush. And so what happened was I had to try something new because I was like, wait a minute, I see that I'm riding with one foot and I keep falling into this bush. So I tried something new and I used both feet and I started riding my bike just fine. So I really like that chapter.
Absolutely, and we can apply in so many aspects of our lives. And when I was writing this book, I said, Lord, I want to be able to reach so many people. So we have Hanai, who's in the 6th grade, who was inspired. We have Nathan, who's in the 8th grade, who's inspired. We have Lydia, a senior in high school, who's inspired. We have Patrice, who's in college, who's inspired, and our elder, who's inspired as well. It doesn't matter what age you are. At what point in your life you're in, you can be inspired by this book. There's a message and a lesson to be learned for so many people. And that's right. We have to try to do something new. And with this character, she was struggling and she was trying and she was going through so much and she realized, wait a minute, the reason I'm getting the same results is because I'm doing the same thing. And she dug deep and she came up with a plan. And what happened, Nathan? Did she come up on top?
Yes. Yes,
We
she
have to
did.
we have to face our fears. Sometimes we say, you know what, I'm comfortable. This is where I'm at. I'm just gonna stay here. But you have to try something new. If you're not happy and you're not satisfied with where you are in life, do something new. Face your
Mhm.
fear. Very good. Thank you so much, Nathan.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, Lydia, class of 2021.
Yes, class of 2021. um, so my favorite chapter was called Sacrifices. And this chapter really struck a chord with me because my parents, they migrated into the United States around the 90s, and my mother came here with nothing to her name, not a penny, nothing to her name. And she had to stay here and she had to work for herself. She had to sacrifice for my sister while she had her, and now she has me here. And that was a really great opportunity, and I really do admire my mother for sacrificing everything for me so I can be able to have a great opportunity here in America. Just like how I am sacrificing while I'm going to school, I'm also working at Publix. I have to work 10 hours a week in order to be qualified
for this program. So yes, I am working and I'm going to school so I can pay for my tuition because Lord knows, whew, I need help. I need help. So yes. So I mean, I really do admire this chapter because even the character in the book, the guy, he was sacrificing for his mother because his mother was in the hospital. Don't want to, tell too much because y'all got to read it. The people who are going to buy it, y'all got to read it for yourselves. But yes, the guy, his mother got into a hospital, and more of the story, he had to sacrifice everything for his mother, and in order for him and his mother to be successful, to be great. So I really did admire this chapter.
I'm glad that it struck a chord with you, Lydia, and I know you're going to do great things.
Yes. Oh, I also have a quote. And it says, "Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selfishness." So that
absolutely, absolutely. All right. So in chapter 7, I'm gonna skip straight to chapter 7, and we're focusing on the title of chapter 7 is Just Remember. And basically, in that chapter, what I did, I depicted several people that are known to many of us, and they come from different walks of life, such as Steve Harvey, Helen Keller, Walt Disney, Einstein, all these people that we know about their success. However, they all had struggles. They had people that told them that they wouldn't amount to anything. They had to make sacrifices, and they went through so many different obstacles, but they did not let their current situation, stop them from going where they needed to be. And I shared those people with you because I wanted you to know that just because you see where they are right now, you have to know where they came from so you can realize that even though you may not be where you want to be currently, you can also attain your goal as long as you stay focused.
Yeah.
Clarity is powerful. You have to know exactly what you want.
If I can say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you said on the chapter, stay focused. You said clarity is powerful. And talking about these individuals who was able to make a sacrifice, they were able to stay focused. You said you have to know exactly what on a day-to-day basis. This is difficult, but I think this discipline is very practical, particularly in a post-COVID, mid-COVID environment. Every day to do something that gets you closer to your dreams, then check it off your list. Then you had an acronym: focus, follow on course until successful. I mean, this is just exactly what the doctor ordered, because this is where routine can get a little discombobulated, right? Because people have been off, students are at school and home, and every day writing that checklist out and making sure you can check it off at the end of the day can really help you during this pandemic to still achieve the dreams that God has set you. And they don't have to be take a detour. Even though the pandemic may have derailed us, we can still reach our destination. And I believe, again, this book that you have written can help us do that. I want to just put a plug in right now, Pat, and just encourage everybody right now to check out your internet, right, and go to patgolfauthor.com, and you can order this book not just for yourself but for someone else, because this book is what the doctor ordered, and I want you to do that. Let's support our very own Pat Golf, and let's continue from the experience of these young people. Again, I turn it over to you, Pat.
All right, thank you so much. As we're winding time down with time, so let's go straight to the back, the activities. like I said, along with the stories here and the motivational quotes, I have activities in the back that not only do I want you to read the book, I want you to process every part of it because it will impact you in a positive way. Were there any activities that stood out to any of you guys? Nathan, did you find an activity that stood out to you in the back of the book?
Yes, I really like the one about the budget because schools they don't really teach budgeting as often as they teach like all the core curriculum. So I was really grateful for that because it was insightful for me to help me like see more about budgeting, and especially since my parents they do a lot of budgeting in their daily life too. So I really like the budgeting part of that.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we um we don't have the opportunity. I'll use myself as an example. I didn't have the opportunity to learn about budgeting until I got older. And like you said, Nathan, it's not in most school curriculums. And
Yeah.
budgeting is very important. As I got older, I would hear the term toss, tithe, offering, um, save, and spend. I learned that in my old age. But in this book, you have the opportunity to learn it now and apply it now. So I'm glad that was your takeaway, and I'm hoping that you are actually applying that method
Yeah.
in your day-to-day life. Lydia, was there a specific activity that stuck out to you that you feel is was very powerful for you?
Yes. Setting goals, setting your short term and long term goals. Especially with me being a senior, I must have goals in place or else I will be lost. And and that's that, So my short term goal was college essays, doing scholarships, taking the SAT, and due to COVID, we didn't get to take our first SAT or our ACT. So taking our SAT, that's a short term goal, and your ACT. Also, college applications on Common App or on other college application websites. Yeah, those are my short-term goals. Then for my long-term goals would be my major, even though I do have that decided, but I might change my major in the long term. So my major, also FAFSA, applying the FAFSA is my long-term goal, and as well as scholarships. So that really
That's
helped
right.
me.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, that really helped me categorize what I need to do now and then what I can save for later, because senior year is very stressful. But yes, that activity really did help me a lot.
Absolutely. And that's great because we have to decide where we're trying to get. And in order to do that, to make a list of our goals. Okay, so your goal is to graduate from high school and to get admitted to college. What are the steps to getting there? You write that list. What are my short-term goals? What are my long-term goals? And you pray about it. Say, Lord, I need you to help me tackle this list one day at a time. And next thing you know it, I'm sure you've already crossed several things off your list. Am I correct, Lydia?
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
Very good, very good. I'm very happy for you. Now, Patrice, earlier in our conversation, you mentioned, being able to reach out to your mom, and when you need to have someone to speak to, and having like-minded people around you. And you also mentioned the term SWOT analysis. Let me tell you about the SWOT analysis. Okay, so late 30s, don't want to give my age out. And I decided that I wanted to learn more. So I started volunteering, and I sat on what's called a steering committee for a nonprofit here in Jacksonville. And as I was sitting on that steering committee, I heard the term SWOT analysis. I'm like, what is that? And then they broke it down. They said the S for SWOT meant strength, the stood for weakness, and the O stood for opportunity, and the T stood for threat. And they took that information and they used it according to what project they were working on. They wanted to know what their strength was, their weakness, opportunities, and their threats in order to make sure that they were going to be impactful in that community. So as I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. Lord, I think I need to I got something here. Now, mind you, I'm just volunteering, trying to learn things. And the Lord impressed on me was say, Pat, the same way they can use that towards a project, you can use that for yourself. And that's what I did. In this book, I shared that activity with you because if we as individuals know our strengths, our weakness, our opportunities, our threats, we can capitalize on our strengths. Okay? When we find out what our weakness is, if we have problem with public speaking, you can take classes that can help you, find a mentor that can help you. You have opportunities. Patrice, your opportunity was the fact that you had your mom who's there for you, right? And you have like-minded people that you can speak to. So that's an opportunity for you to be able to excel because there are a lot you have that positive. And then if there's threats, something that's stopping you, say, you know what, I'm in Andrews University, Lord, do I have enough finance for the next semester? So what are your threats? Okay, so you understand that that may be a threat, and praise the Lord, that is not your testimony, hallelujah. But if that were hypothetically speaking your problem, you say, okay, how can I get resources? Let me talk to my mom, let me talk to like-minded people, let me reach out to my church members. How can I get more finances? You find scholarships, part-time job, you do what it is that you need to do to get there. So how did this SWOT analysis help you with me saying all this?
Understanding my strengths and understanding my weaknesses, it helps me. Knowing both of them help me to strengthen my strengths even more and to not let my weaknesses affect me that much. And finding my opportunities, like say finance is a problem, I have a job now, so that's using my opportunities to help me so that my weaknesses are really not as big as I really think they are.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And again, I got this. I received this tool at in my adult years, and you guys have this right now. And you can take this. I mean, it will help you so much because it gives you a view of the big picture. You step back and you look and you said, what are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and how can I tackle them to get to where I need to get? And you pray about it and surround yourself with like-minded people. Oh my goodness, the sky's the limit. I'm so happy for you guys. And I'm so grateful that you're able to read this book. And I hope that you share it with others.
Yes, yes. Well, hey, listen, you can book it because we have been blessed by Pat Goff and Patricia and Lydia and Nate. We are just so excited for you all joining us, for Hanaya, for your attention, for our viewer audience. We want you to go now and to order this book entitled You Can Still Dream. You can get this book at patgolfauthor.com, and it will be a blessing to your life. We are out of moments, but we are not out of message. And we want to leave you with this word from Pat Goff in her book. And this is what she said. Just a reminder as we close, the power behind taking responsibility for your action lies in putting an end to negative thought patterns. You no longer dwell on what went wrong or focus on whom you are going to blame. You don't waste time building roadblocks to your success. Instead, you are set free and can now focus on succeeding. This book is a gem, and I am not boosting you up. I want to thank you so much for making yourself available. I want to thank you for sharing this book, and we look forward on next week where we will have with us Dr. Carrington from TAB SDA. We look forward to having him, and we want to give a special shout out to Pat and our panelists for coming on tonight. And until next time, we pray that you book it, Get the book now. I want to do something special. We're going to give away 10 free copies for those who go to secsda.org. We want to give this copy to you. Also, you can put in the stream your email address and we'll contact you so that we can get this copy to you. Until next time, we want to say thank you for joining us, and God bless.